Hello? Hello, hello! It's gaming time. Okay. I have messages. Okay. Okay. Sorry, let me just check these things. Alrighty, okay. Let me give you some backstory on this game. I know nothing about it. Absolutely nothing. This is a completely blind playthrough. So yesterday, I was scrolling through Steam because I was waiting for Surgeon Simulator 2 to start playing. To be released. Played a bit of that yesterday, planning to stream that in the future with some friends. It was a lot of fun. While I was browsing for it, I found this game. This game is called Our Life. And this game is completely free. How the heck is a game that is overwhelmingly positive in past and recent reviews completely free? So they have... This is a, dating sim, I think. I literally know nothing about it. Visual novel. That follows around the boy on the screen here. He looks kinda wholesome. Oh my gosh, where even is the game? There we go. Okay. And, yeah, I'm just really excited to try it. I found that they had a DLC that included 600 voiced names. And this DLC was also free. They have 3 other DLC, which are about £3 each. And I figured, you know what? Considering they've already put so much effort into a free game, I'm just gonna buy them, and we're gonna stream it. And we're gonna go through this together. So, I don't know why it says continue. I genuinely have not played past this screen. Well, I say that. I've opened the settings. Welcome to Our Life, beginning and always. Tutorial time? Okay. There are various ways you can customize and interact with the game. This tutorial is an overview of how certain features work. Okay. You can read the full tutorial from the main menu to learn about everything in detail. To start off, the game is divided into 3 time periods called steps. Step 1, childhood, Step 2, adolescent, and Step 3, teenaged. Our life is further divided into sets of vignettes, we'll say, that take place during specific periods of time. Those are called moments. Moments can be played in any order or skipped entirely. You move on to the next step whenever you want by selecting that summer is ending. Okay. Steps 1 to 3 include 5 moments each, and even more can be unlocked by purchasing DLCs. Some are out now, and other DLCs will be released later on. So I have all 3 steps. Just checking that my facing is still working. Okay. I have all 3 steps DLCs. I don't know if they're planning to release any more. A lot happens over the years that go by, especially in regard to the character you play as. You determine nearly everything about the main character: name, appearance, personality, pronouns, we stand pronouns, interests, skills, or relationship with major characters, and so on. I mean, choosable pronouns. I read that as you also play on this game, you can change your pronouns as your character ages up, which really, interested me. You can decide to change the details as time goes on, with a few exceptions. Your last name, skin tone, and eye color can't be altered once set. Okay. Much of the MC's basic traits are determined on a character creation screen. As the MC grows up, more options become available on the screen. Okay. Hi everyone, thank you for joining me today. As mentioned, one of the decisions you'll get to make for your character is selecting a name. You can type in any name you'd like, or you can pick a preset name. Preset options are called voice names because the name will be voiced aloud by the romantic lead. Okay? You'll get to hear him say your name as you play through the story. This is all I've ever wanted in a visual novel, and I have, like, seriously considered wanting to make one of these. Only the default name, Jamie, is included in the base name. Hundreds more can be added by getting free voice name expansion DLC, which is what I have, and that has apparently over 600 extra names. That genuinely shocks me. I hope they paid the voice actor well. The full collection of names is separated out as a DLC because of how large it is. If you're not interested in that feature, you do not need to get it. Each name in the DLC belongs to or was selected by someone who supported this project. Aww. On the character creation screen, can you tell what I'm thinking? It's stream. There is a cute doll you can decorate to get an idea of what your MC looks like, with the different traits put together. Not all the things you decide about the MC appear on the doll. The script referencing what you've decided for the MC is the main way those decisions influence the game. Our Life has a first-person perspective, so your character doesn't appear next to the other character sprites. You'll only see the MC as a decorative doll and special cut-in CG images. The cut-in CGs only appear if certain choices are made. It's possible not to see any during a playthrough. Oh. There is also a second type of special MC-based screen, the interest/comfort screen. Unless you get DLCs, the game has one love interest, Cove Holden. He grows up with the MC, and the interest/comfort screen is crucial for determining how that plays out. Interest level sets how much you'd like him. Okay, there are 4 levels: disinterest, fond, crush, and love. Love is only available starting in step 3, and if you are at fond or crush in step 2. Comfort determines how you generally react/think when it comes to him. There are 3 levels: nervous, relaxed, and direct. Your level of interest and comfort will set the type of dynamic your character has with the love interest. What you did in the past will influence the present, and feelings can change over time. You get to pick your interest/comfort near the beginning of every step. Comfort can switch between the 3 levels as you please. Your interest level can only stay the same or increase. Your current level of interest will become the new lowest option on the screen in the future. Okay. For example, if you decide to be fond in step 1, disinterest will not be available on the screen in steps 2 and 3, which will make fond the bottom level option for your relationship. Interest level has an impact when it comes to physically interacting with Cove. While growing up, things are rather simple. If you get along with one another and have a close relationship, you can choose to touch him, and Cove will occasionally interact with the MC in light-hearted or comforting ways. Wholesome! But starting in step 3, touching can become... What age? What rating is this game? I didn't check! Let me check. I don't see an age rating. Dun dun dun! Okay. If it's a rabbit hole we're going down, it's a rabbit hole we're going down. Okay. To make sure things go nicely with that, there will be an extra choice to determine initiative level and a bonus mini tutorial that goes along with the choice to explain the feature in more detail. Basically, even if you decide to like Cove, the game won't force you to act on those feelings. You can always choose not to get together with him, choose not to accept or give romantic gestures, etc. If you do decide to date Cove, though, you can't break up with him later. You're in this for life. You in it for the long run. Interest/comfort gets the basics down, but it's the choices that appear throughout the normal game events that decide what actually happens between the MC and Cove. And it isn't only the MC who's impacted by your decision. Cove grows and changes over the years. How he is treated and what he experiences helps shape who he becomes. In steps 2 and 3, Cove's personality, appearance, and interests will vary based on what happened in the previous step. It's something of a mystery exactly how your decisions end up changing him. You can try to guess as you go along. Or if you prefer, you can also just design your own ideal Cove directly using the Cove Creator option that pops up at the beginning of steps 2 and 3. Making the choices you want is always more important than making a choice because you feel like you have to in order to get a certain result. Oh, this game really goes in depth. When a choice does appear, usually you'll see that hovering the cursor over an option shows a certain colour, yellow, blue or green. The colours aren't related to specific points or effects, they're only there to give a bit of insight on the tone/emotion of the choice, since text alone can potentially be read more than one way. Blue tends to be casual or straightforward, yellow tends to be emotive or reactive, and green less certain or uncommitted. Though there are hundreds of options in our life, and not every choice menu falls in line with that pattern, picking just one colour every time doesn't give a gameplay benefit. Only stick to a certain type if that's what you happen to like, otherwise switch between them freely. Always pick yellow, never pick yellow. Pursue romance right from the start, never romance blah 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 blah. You're welcome to enjoy the events and it shaped the story without reservation, and then if you like you can play again and try something new. There's only ever more good content to discover. We hope that you'll have a nice time with our life. Thank you for playing. Okay. That's cute. Alright, we're gonna make our bee. And if I remember correctly, B was one of the voiced names. There it is.
B.
B. It's B. No, you're not late. We just started, actually. Triangle. What should our last name be? We'll just go with Tan. I don't know. That feels weird. We'll say Nita. That's fine. And we have the pronouns. There are multiple pages. Okay. That is cute. Yeah, we need freckles. Hand size. We got some glasses. Okay. we'll just select all of those, I guess. Excuse me. Okay. Summer in Sunset Bird was a special time of year. Your usually sleepy town began to bustle. It was a popular tourist destination, with people coming from all over the world, from all over, to enjoy the beach, the weather, and the relaxation that came with both. Ugh. The smell of the ocean, crisp and salty, hung in the air, bringing 3 whole months of schoolless vacation with it. Schoolless. There's 104 days of summer vacation. During the summer, your mums didn't like you to wander too far outside of your neighborhood, so you knew the area pretty well. That included the people. Families came and went from Sunset Bird, but they mostly stayed and did what your mum called putting down roots. They built businesses, they got to know each other, and they definitely said hello to the nice young kids who waved when passing their stores. Going for a walk around town mostly meant that the familiar, friendly residents waved or asked how your family was, or most often just said hello. Okay, you didn't really get why they always had to say hi. They saw you every day, but you nodded back at them anyway. You ended up saying hi to... Okay, yeah, these are the colours. You ended up saying hi to a lot of different people, since most of the tourists that came and went every summer were the same ones. You were too anxious to say hi back to most of the other residents that greeted you, but they all knew you well enough to expect that. It's a very British thing to kind of nod to people you know. Like, if someone goes, "You alright?" You go, "You alright?" Yeah, we'll go with that. So that's kind of what I think about that one. It was the polite thing to do after all. Your mums had taught you to always be respectful, and my dog is barking. But today, there was a man sitting on the curb outside of your house. What? He was sitting with his head in his hands, his whole body slumped over, and you wondered if he was even a real person, or a statue that had been magically sprung out from the ground overnight. What the dog doing? What the dog doing? Okay. Whoever, or whatever he was, you had never seen him before. Hello! Thank you for joining the stream. One thing about knowing everyone in Sunset Bird was that people you didn't recognize really stood out. It was rare for tourists to venture into the residential district, as your mum called it. So for you, not knowing who a total stranger was set off a lot of red flags. Your mum's had a talk with you and your big sister Lizzie about this kind of situation before. You hadn't exactly been listening at the time. You think it could be okay to talk to new people. They mentioned that some people aren't good to talk to, but other types of people can help you even if you don't know them. You remember that it's okay to run away if you feel uncomfortable. You don't have to worry about being polite to them. We'll go with the middle one. You weren't sure about this man yet. Okay, but you felt a bit scared knowing that he was blocking the way to your front door. But you were pretty interested. You wanted to know more about what was going on. Whether he was nice or not, you didn't want to be bothered. I'm a bit uncomfortable. You slowed down, your mind racing for ideas on how to get past him unseen, but it was too late to escape. There was a split second where your eyes met and you took in a shaky breath. Your eyes started darting to the sky, pretending to stare at a bird who was hovering nearby. Hey! His voice startled you and made you jump, but you still didn't look at him. The bird landed on top of a nearby gatepost, its black feathers ruffled against the gentle breeze. Trying to keep your eyes on it was tough, especially when the man stood up and started to make his way towards you. Alright, not wanting to seem too approachable, you folded your arms instead. Still unsure about him, but willing to be friendly, you offered the stranger a smile. Your whole body was frozen in place as he approached. Wow, these are kind of Yeah, it's like one extreme to the next. I don't know. I want to be polite. The man gives a grin of his own back. Do you live around here? What's your name? You look the man up and down, taking in his tanned skin and relaxed appearance. At least his clothes were relaxed. The way he was acting wasn't. He had sharks on his shorts and a stingray tattoo. You wondered if he was obsessed with the ocean or something. Me too, honey, me too. While you made your assessment, he looked at you expectantly, waiting for an answer to his question. I'm gonna say nothing. Because I don't want to say I live here. If you do, he rubbed the back of his neck uncomfortably, giving you a small smile. He's offering me money. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a clean $20 bill. It crinkled in his hand as he held it up to you. Even more confused than before, you looked back at him.
Well...
Could you do me a favor? Nothing bad. I should have... Let me start over. He cleared his throat and stood up straighter. I'm gonna have to get some buddies to voice these. Let's see if anyone's available. I mean, if nobody joins, it's not the end of the world. I will just use my very, very, very voice. I have a very voice. What can I say? There's nothing all that special about it. From where you were standing, it just made him look creepier. Yeah, did he get closer to me? I have a son. His name is Cove, who is about your age. Okay. Okay, Cove. That seemed like a strange name for an actual living person to you. That's a bit rude. You chewed the inside of your cheek. This guy was definitely obsessed with water. You thought that was pretty cool. I don't think it's all that strange of a name. Do I think it's cool? Or do I think this guy's obsessed with water? I think it's cool. You've never met anyone with that name. In Cove's dad. We moved in across the street, see? He gestured toward the house that had been empty for a year, his watch catching the late afternoon sunlight and reflecting off the walls. The gigantic for sale sign was finally gone. Hooray! You must be B-Nighter, right? I met your mums earlier, and they told... Do I have two? Do I have two mums? And they told me you were 8, just like him, so... He shook the $20 bill to bring it back to your attention, a hopeful smile tilting his lips at the corners. Please don't do that. Can you try to be friends with the boy? Just give it a chance and see, and you can keep this. He's a good kid. You'll like him.
Do you mind?
But you've got to keep it a secret, okay? It wouldn't be friendly to say his dad sent you. I feel sorry for Cove. This definitely wasn't the normal way that kids made friends. You knew that. What do you say? Want to make a deal? Let's think. Back to when I was 8. I don't remember when I was 8. Do I want to run away? I don't want to run away, but I'm not going to take the money. I don't want the money. You took a step back from him, clearly refusing to accept the offer. He deflated enough to notice, but not completely.
Are you
It
sure?
won't be so bad, even if it's just for the summer. That would be enough. That would be enough. That only made this sound more strange to you. Why does it lasting for the summer matter? When it was clear his initial strategy wasn't going to fly, he tucked the bill back into his pocket and changed the request. I get it. You don't have to. Would you be comfortable with he and I coming by for a normal visit? No money involved. Okay. I want to meet him, but I don't want to be like... And if I go like, you'd have to ask my mums, then that's kind of like me saying I'm not interested. I'm reading too much into this. I'm just gonna say okay. His smile got bigger again, his eyes crinkled at the sides. I'll bring him by tomorrow. I wanted him to meet and greet with the neighbors today, but, well, I don't know where he's gotten off to. He laughed when he said that, but the way his face looked, you thought he actually wanted to cry. Oh, if you see him, can you tell him to come on home? Oh, he's got a pink cast and glasses, you can't miss it. Okay. This definitely wasn't the normal way kids made friends, you knew that, but you were still going to help. The man smiled and reached out to pat you on the head, paused before doing so, then pulled his hand away. Your mum's already checking around for me, such a thoughtful group you are. Now I better go look too, can't put everyone else to work while I keep sitting here. I thought he might come back and... That's not important. I have to go. Studying right now, maybe doing it out here. Okay, I'll do it out here. Thank you, Rad. Okay. And my face tracker did a die. And it's back. Okay. Thanks again, V, so much. He jogged off down the street without another word. You decided to check the hills behind your house. Let's go! I should probably grab a drink. Step 1, first sight. The chirping of crickets in the tall grass greeted you, quiet and familiar. I'm gonna grab a drink. I feel like I'm sounding like I'm dying. That's not how I want to sound. Delicious. I guess. Okay. It doesn't look like anyone's available, but that's alright. Alright. From the top of the hill, you can see the ocean. As you walked, you listened to the crash of the waves on the shore, the seagulls squawking as they settled down for the night. Okay. Okay. So, a little fact about me. I am obsessed with mermaids. Oh, Socks, did you fall down? Poor Socks. Come on. It's okay. My cat fell. That poor thing. That poor kitty. Alright, I've always loved the ocean. It was so much fun. Yeah, I have Socks. You love to hear stories about the sea, about merfolk and sea serpents. You imagine living far beneath the waves. I know, poor Socks. Poor kitty. You want to say hi to everyone? No, you're just gonna purr. Mwah. Okay. Poor Socks. Poor Socks. Okay, and you didn't enjoy the beach at all that much, especially its sand, which got absolutely everywhere. True, but mermaids, that's it for me. Sometimes you could almost convince yourself that you had seen a flash of a shiny mermaid's tail in the distance. Ah, it's me! You took in a deep breath. You wanted to try and relax and couldn't. You weren't sure what, but something told you that you weren't alone, so you glanced around. I found the boy! Hooray! I have discovered the boy! There was a boy sitting at the top of the hill, almost completely hidden within the long grass and white flowers surrounding him. His head was buried to his knees, and staring ahead by himself. For whatever reason, probably just that he wasn't paying attention, he hadn't noticed you yet. You watched him a minute longer, feeling a little bit like you'd found a deer in the wild. Though deer didn't have green hair, wavy eyebrows, huge glasses, pink casts, and sad frowns. Aww. Sad frowns. But this new boy did. You wondered what could have upset him. He does have wavy eyebrows. Look at him. Look at him go! After a few more seconds, you took a step forward, then another. And then he glanced your way. His aquamarine eyes reflected the light of the moon. You stopped, raising a hand to acknowledge him, and show that you weren't scary. Hey, Space Cadet! I don't think 8-year-old, 22-year-old Blair, definitely that weird. 8-year-old, maybe not. I can already tell that he's lost, or whatever, but I'll just say hi. With a start, he jumped to his feet, his hands balling into fists at his sides. He didn't say anything, just stared at you in a strange way. Okay. He'd been crying. There were traces of tears on his cheeks and his knees, soaking the hem of his shorts, and his eyes were still shining a few more. You'd obviously caught him off guard. His pink cast seemed to glow in the twilight, when he caught you staring at it, he hid his arm behind his back. Something the man earlier said struck out to you. Cove? Ah. Ah. Eyes wide, he studied you. How did you know that? I'm all-knowing. Lucky guess? That's sus. You don't just say lucky guess. I'll be streaming for a little bit if you want to try and set up your mic. I'll be around for a while. Should I be funny? Yeah, I'll be funny. That's a lie, tell the truth. Well, I shouldn't have done that. Okay, your dad told me who you were. So is this your hill? This isn't my hill. I don't own any hills. I am an 8-year-old. He gestured with his uninjured arm to the patch of grass surrounding you, his face falling at the prospect. I can leave if it is. You can't own a hill! Why not? How could you? You just do. I had a hill back home. He has a hill. Yeah, go on then. If you want to, you can... Well, this still isn't mine. Oh. He sat back down with a thump, resting his chin on his knees again. Curious about the strange new boy with the odd dad, he sat on the patch of grass next to him. The pure white flowers that covered this hill rocked back and forth gently as the stars twinkled above. The way they dotted the sky made them seem like flowers too. The night wind was as cool as it traveled over the ocean and up the hill, chasing away the heat from the afternoon sun. I want to play this as thinking back as to when I was 8 instead of me actively playing as a 22-year-old pretending to be 8, you know? Because that would be sus. Why are you here? A quiet hiccup escaped Cove as you asked the question. Almost like they'd never stopped, his tears started showing up again with a vengeance. Oh, my parents. They don't want to live together with me anymore. Oh, honey. The tears fell fast and heavy over his flushed cheeks, sticking in his dark lashes. My mum made my dad leave and he took me with him, and now we have a house here and I want to go home. Oh, baby. The outburst took you off guard. By the time he was done wailing, Cove's chest was heavy with exhaustion. He sniffled and removed his glasses, wiping his eyes with the back of his hand before he put them back on again. I hate this place. I want my real life back. I want my mom. Just stop crying. Okay. I'm sorry, or you'll like it here, you just have to get used to it. Sure. He slipped his hand underneath his glasses and pressed his fingers against his eyelid. Cove wound himself up again for another long crying fit. Sunset Bird was a nice place to live. It had a beach, playgrounds, a good school, at least you thought so. This is an 8-year-old. But from away off in the distance, you heard your parents. B. Kids, where did you go? Cove looked at you, tears still clinging to his cheeks. Don't tell them we're here.
I want to go home.
I don't want to go back to that house. I want to go home. You can handle it. You have to go. Don't worry so much. Sorry, I have to. It will be okay. You were struck by a sudden need to reassure Cove. It's not gonna be all fun, but isn't he your family too? Yeah, I guess. Then you can count on him when you really, really need him. You shot him a grin and pushed yourself to your feet. Suddenly, Cove stood up with you, looking a little reluctant. His dad's voice rang out again. Cove, can you hear me? He looked towards the sound of his voice, silent, then turned away while rubbing his not bandaged arm.
Sorry.
I still don't want to go. I'm not gonna be a snitch. Yeah, I get it. You do? Before you could answer, you heard Cove's dad, even closer than before. There you are, bud. The trio of parents appeared over the curve of the hill. Instantly, all their eyes landed on you and they rushed over. Both of your mums were at your side in a split second, faces filled with worry. Hello, mamas! My mothers are so pretty. Pretty, mum. Damn. B, you're here after all. Mum and mummy, not just mum 1 and mum 2. We had been at the park to check for Cove, then heard what happened earlier when you met the new neighbour. I thought you might have gone off further away. Let's just say we were just sitting in the grass. Okay, so this one is mummy. And this one is mum. Were you two having fun out here? You looked over at Cove, who was wiggling against his dad's tight hug and pushing at his arms. He's good! I think I'm gonna marry him. I hate this, but it is a very 8-year-old thing to say. Wow, that is such a weird thing to say, though, even as an 8-year-old. Shrug. That's a very... I'll just say, You didn't think it was the right word to describe it, but you weren't sure what else to say to your mums. Finally letting go of his squirming, scowling son, Cove's dad turned to the three of you. Thanks so much for finding him. I really don't know this neighborhood. Good thing B knows this area so well. I am so big brain! B is so smart. I am so smart. Absolutely. We should be getting home now. It's been a long day for us all. Say goodbye, Cove.
Bye.
Goodbye, little baby bean. Goodbye. Okay. The two of them walked off into the darkness, heading toward the neighborhood. You watched Cove's bright pink cast until it disappeared. My friend, when I was young, she actually broke her arm. We were climbing trees, and she fell back and broke her arm. And if I remember correctly, she also had a bright pink cast. But, because I was the only one with her when she broke her arm, I felt very guilty about it, and I handmade her loads of get well soon cards. Man. Tell you what, we'll have a proper playdate tomorrow, okay? Your new friend's dad wanted to bring him by to see you and Lizzie. How does that sound? It sounds like words. That is also a very me thing. Sure, can I show him my stuff? I want to show him my things. Then okay. Both of your mums laughed, the sounds overlapping into a warm, familiar chorus. Mummy put her arm around your shoulder and led you towards the path. Satisfied and more than a little ready to go to bed after your long, exciting day, you followed them home. Cheers your feelings for Cove. This is how you feel towards Cove for this step. It can change in later steps. Okay. I think I'm indifferent at the minute. My comfort, I like to think it's quite relaxed. By the way, Rachel, if you just shoot me a message when if you're gonna join on voice call, just let me know. Shoot me a DM. I don't know. What do you guys think I should do? I'm kind of stuck between fond and indifferent right now. This is a kid we've just met. But thinking back to how I was as a kid, I was very friendly. You know, I used to kind of think that everyone was my friend as a kid, so I think I'm gonna go with fond. Begin step 1 at relaxed fondness. You won't be able to change it again until step 2. Okay. At the breakfast table the next morning, you finished your food faster than usual. Your sister Lizzie had to run out earlier to go play, but you stayed put. I am a good child. Lizzie is not a good child. I am the favourite. Today, just like your mums had promised, Cove was coming over to hang out. My mothers make such a good couple. I love my mothers. Excited to see your new friend again, Bee? Yeah, I am.
How sweet.
How sweet. I'm so happy he moved in.
Okay.
With that said, are you done with your breakfast? I don't know, am I? Yeah. You gestured down to the empty dish in front of you, raising your eyebrows dramatically.
Okay.
Okay, we see. Good job. You should be here soon. Oh, I'm being praised for eating all my food. I am such a good child. Cleanup began, then on cue there was a knock. It was hesitant, like the person wasn't sure they were in the right place. Still loud though. We need to get a more obvious doorbell. I know. Bee, could you get it? I can get it. I can get the door, wiggling out of your chair without really pushing it back. You made your way to the door. Hey, Niter family, thanks for having us. Mr. Holden, as your mums have called him, and his son were here. Cove looked different in the bright lighting of your living room, and when he wasn't crying. Yeah, that tends to make you look different. With his dad standing in front of him, and Mum, and Mummy behind you, you and Cove looked at each other. Pleased to see your new friend again, you smiled at Cove. He smiled back with some hesitation. Shell bracelet. It's gotta be a shell bracelet. I am for the ocean. I am living in the ocean. I am a mermaid. Let's go play in my room.
Okay.
Okay.
Take care.
Let us know if you need anything, you two. Have fun, kids.
See you.
See you later, son. Play nice. You led him to your room, puffing out your chest a little bit at the sight of your treasures. Look at my things! Look at my stuff! There were lots of stuffed animals, a cool bed, and a window to look out. It was a great room. You hadn't had anyone to show it to in a while, but you were really proud of it. My room is so cool. He leaned in a little closer to one of your drawings on the wall. I like this. Aw. I don't. I drew that. Cool. You smiled at him. You were proud of that particular piece of art, and you were glad he noticed it. He turned to look around the room a little more, studying the books on your desk and the pictures on the walls. I do hope he likes my room. My room is many things. You had put a lot of effort into making your room as nice as it was. You hoped he didn't say anything bad about it. Then his eyes landed on the tiny box of beach things you collected, tucked away by your door. He took a step towards it, before hesitating and pointing at it instead. What's that? A hoard of stuff I found on the beach. Yeah, that sounds like something I do. Look at all these shiny rocks!
Oh.
Do you have any driftwood in there? Dragging the box into the middle of the room, you and Co flopped down next to it. I think so. Yeah, see? You gestured to a piece at the bottom, still covered in specks of sand.
Neat.
This is a good collection. Oh. You got the sense from the tone of his voice that he wasn't just saying it to be nice, or to be like Shiloh. I have no idea who that is. He actually meant it. Alright, I almost forgot. Shiloh is going to be here today. Shiloh? Lizzie's friend. Or, like, her #1 fan, I guess. I mean, I don't know who they are, so I guess we gonna find out. Do I have to see him? It should be okay. I mean, he's Lizzie's friend, not mine, but you know. Come on, check out my shell some more. I found this one under a big piece of seaweed that had washed ashore, and you pulled out a seashell after seashell, explaining where you'd gotten each one, holding them up against the light. This is definitely something I would do. There were big ones, small ones, pink, purple, orange. Most of them you'd washed off in the bathroom sink when you brought them home, cleaning off the sand. Over the past few years, you'd even learned some of their scientific names. The collection was so huge and varied that you had lots of funny stories to tell for all of them. Your voice had faltered a little bit, but you kept going as best as you could. I am funny! Apparently fascinated, either by the stories or by the shells themselves, Cove listened with what looked like the full force of his attention. Like you'd almost got pinched by a hermit crab while searching for shells, and after watching him scuttle back into the ocean, you found another empty shell that was almost a twin to his home. It was a new experience to be the center of such dedicated focus. But Cove hadn't been mean to you, so you didn't mind. You smiled at him every now and then, while showing him your collection. Kids, come down to the living room. You could tell the idea was making him unhappy, but Mummy wasn't giving cringe. Wasn't giving you much of a chance to hang around. Cove hadn't been like this meeting you. You'd guessed it was because he thinks you found each other by accident, not that a parent made it happen. Mr. Holden must be right telling Cove his dad wasn't part of that would be a bad idea. I don't think I said that right, but I'm gonna pretend I did. Before you knew it, you'd both been escorted downstairs and deposited in the living room. You were ready for Sheila's visit. The two of you sat side by side on the floor of your home's entryway. I bought the box of shells. I want to keep looking at them. You should have asked. Those are my shells. No. Okay, but be careful. I will. You weren't sure if you could trust someone else with your treasures yet, so you stayed next to him while he opened the lid and peered inside. Cove reached in and pulled out a big orange shell. Oh. Oh. Like he hadn't spoken aloud yet, he turned to you and held it up, his eyes shining. I think this one is the best of them. Aww. Should we bond over it, or should I let him have it? You can take it. Cove looked at you in surprise, his eyes going wide. Really? Sure, you like it a lot, right? Uh-huh, but I don't want to take it from you, it's okay. You got the impression he was hesitant to accept something because he didn't know you very well. I insist. No, it's okay for you. You pushed the shell against Cove's chest, willing him to receive the present, but Cove firmly shook his head and kept his arms tightly at his sides. It was a battle you couldn't win, at least not today. Cove was your neighbor now, but maybe you could give it to him another time. The two of you were sitting on the floor, lightly looking through your collection. There was no lightly. The beat of beach findings when the doorbell finally rang. Cove jumped, startled by the sound. Since the person hadn't knocked, you figured it was probably Shiloh. He knew where to look for that. Lizzie's friend? You nodded, but that didn't seem to make Cove feel better. It was already obvious that Cove didn't hide his feelings very well. You could tell what he was thinking right away. This isn't a good idea. You'll be alright. He's here. We can't tell him to leave. And he's only at our door. If you go upstairs, he'll find you. I don't think I said that right, but okay. Cove glanced around at the room, his eyes wide, and finally paused, with his gaze onto the back of the house. I can go out the window. He was already walking towards it. Scrambling to think of something, you stepped forward, then paused. Wasn't the type of kid to go out a window, I say, but I did it once. I did do it once. Do you want to break your alarm? Yeah. Even I don't jump out of any windows here, and this is my house. There it is. The distance from the first floor living room wasn't far, but you could tell it made Cove very nervous anyway. He touched the cast on his arm. The wind had clearly released from his sails. I don't want to break any more bones. Understandable, have they? I don't think anyone wants to. Yeah. But I don't want to see him. I don't know him. I'm not going to tease him. Comfort or encourage, comfort or encourage, comfort or encourage. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. I'm going to encourage him. Hey, if you do have a hard time with him, I'll tell him to leave. Is that okay? Okay. Shiloh poked his head into the living room. It was impossible to know for sure if he had heard anything you'd been saying or not, but you guessed that he had.
Hi.
He's a baby! And, hi, Cove? Cove shot you an uneasy glance.
Hi.
I'm Shiloh. It's nice to meet you. Yeah. You have a lot of freckles. Right, I do. What are you guys doing? We're looking at shells.
Can I do it too?
He's a baby! Cove stroked, then looked back at your box of beach findings. What about that one? The plan for the afternoon, at least as far as you were concerned, was to sit and look at the beach things some more. You weren't really in the mood to do much of anything else, especially if Cove was having fun. Hey, check out this scallop shell I found. Cool, right? It's a pretty color. Kinda like my cast. The beautiful glittering pink did look a bit like the wrap around his arm. Pink is a nice color. Okay.
Oh?
Okay. Is it your favorite? Not really. What is? Maybe green or blue. It might be yellow. That's all the colors for the chat options. Oh, those are all cool.
I guess.
not sure how to deal with the sudden more awkward silence, you look back at your shells. There are better colors. I like those colors too. I'll be quiet. Like usual, it didn't take too long for Sheila to get fidgety. Lizzie was his favorite. Without her around, Sheila didn't know what to do with himself. And Cove wasn't like your sister. He wasn't that much like you either. Is Lizzie coming back? Don't know. Where'd she go? I think she's at the beach, probably. Is she playing at her park? Cove's eyes lit up at the mention of the park, and he looked towards you. There's a park? Yeah, but it's old. Can you show me? I want to go. He started getting up before he had even answered. Sheila jumped up beside him in excitement. Really? You do? Right, Bee? You do? Yeah, you do too, right, Bee? This park is so fun. No. Let's think of a park when I was 8. I can think of one. It was by the coast. It was pretty big. Yeah, it's right at the beach, so there's lots of fun stuff to do, and lots of sand. It has a jungle gym and a bunch of swings. That sounds like it would be cool. So, are we gonna find Lizzie? I don't know. I never really wanted to see her, I just wanted to check the park out. Adrift without any direction, Sheila finally turned to you. Okay. He perked up, both boys wanted to go. It was only fair. After getting permission from your mums, the three of you were ready to head out. It was a short walk to the park. Lizzie had convinced your mums that it was so short, she should always be allowed to walk there by herself. We're at the park. We're at the park. When you found her, she was hanging on a jungle gym, swinging back and forth. Hey, Lizzie. Her face lit up when she saw you, her big brown eyes going wide. Bee, Sheila. Hi. She dropped to the ground and landed with a soft thud in the sand. In a split second, Sheila had abandoned you two and scrambled over to stand by her. Sheila was a simp! I see you simping. You were used to being left out when it was the three of you, but now Cove was here. You wondered if he would leave too. Who's that? It's Cove. He's new.
Hi.
Welcome to my park. Nobody ever comes to play here, so this is where we get together. She gestured widely with her arms as if to present the whole area to the newcomer. Without interrupting Lizzie's speech, Cove whispered in your ear, quiet enough so that the others wouldn't overhear. I thought kids couldn't own places like parks or hills. You couldn't help but laugh a tiny bit. While Lizzie continued talking, you took a chance to kick off your shoes and wriggle your toes through the warm sand. Nice, huh? In this neighborhood, I'm the one who comes up with ideas. No worries, Rachel. Yeah, there's going to be a few of these streams, so you're more than welcome to join anytime. You are?
Uh-huh.
Yeah? Who else could handle the job? Lizzie is the oldest. By a lot. My mum said you're Bee's age.
Yeah.
Thought so. I'm still the only one in this group with double digits. What about the other kids? Other kids? There aren't any. We're the only kids around here, and Sheila is just visiting from another place. Damn. Not even tourists really bring their kids here. This is the land of ancients. Be careful that the oldies don't try to steal your youth.
Oh.
For a second, it looked like he might cry again, but something in his eyes shifted, and he looked back at Lizzie. What kind of old people? Like mums and dads, or grandparents? Grandparents who don't have kids. They hate kids. Why? We haven't done anything. Ugh. The drink is good. Okay. Only some of them don't like kids. You interjected quickly, hoping Lizzie wouldn't take things too far. Cove sniffled, his forehead creasing with worry. Lizzie was staring Cove down, but Cove wasn't even looking at her anymore. He didn't seem to care that she was there. He went into his own head. Sheila was the next one to speak, completely unaware of the situation. I met Lizzie and Bee in school. You'll see a ton of kids there once summer is over. I don't want to go to a new school. I don't want summer to end. Sheila looked down at the dirt. He hasn't had much luck striking up conversations with Cove. I like summer vacation a lot too. All the building tension in the air suddenly vanished when Lizzie laughed. At Shiloh's discomfort, at how weird she thought Cove was, at something else entirely you didn't really know. But she laughed, face scrunching up.
Okay.
Welcome to Sunset Bird Cove. Take a seat, put up your feet, and get used to it. You offered him a small smile, and that, at least, looked to reassure him some. For the rest of the summer, Cove was always there. You saw him more often than Sheila, and on some days when she was in a bad mood or busy, you even saw him more than Lizzie. Whoa. He became a staple of your everyday life, the way sun and lunch and the beach were. Food. During your first summer together, you really liked Cove. He was a fun person to play with, and he seemed to like playing with you too. Of course, that was only the start of things. Moment select. Step 1. Okay. So we got some DLC things. Fireflies! Oh! Okay, I see how this is working. This is really interesting. This game is... I'm really excited to play this. Let's go to the beach! Cove wasn't able to do many things that summer. When you, him, and Shiloh sat out in the shoreline one bright morning, you could tell he wanted to be in the water. But there was no way he'd be swimming anytime soon, not with that cast. The waves washed a single shell to the shore, glittering in blue, another reminder of the places he couldn't go. From what you'd heard about Cove's old life so far, in tiny pieces, in fragments, you could tell that he'd do anything to be able to get that cast off. Like, make a pact with a witch or something, just to get off his arm. Sorry. Imagine making a deal with a witch to have your whole arm removed. You thought about how his summer last year must have been totally different from his, with his old home and his mum and dad. But now he was here with you and Shiloh and Lizzie and everyone else, and he couldn't even go in the sea. That's pretty sad. It's pretty sad, lads. There we go. This town wasn't bad. It had all your favorite things in it, but sitting there on the same beach you'd grown up on, you could understand that not everybody else felt the same way about Sunset Bird as you did. You watched him from the corner of your eye quietly, and you finally said aloud what you'd been pondering. I wish I could go in.
The water?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, the space dude. Of course the water! Oh, I'm sorry. You're gonna be able to do it soon. Cove only sighed in response. Apparently soon wasn't soon enough. It's so pretty, the ocean. Mm-hmm, and huge. There could be anything out there, like mermaids.
Yeah.
Mermaids? I wish you didn't have a cast. Me too. Obviously not interested in hearing much more of your input on the situation, Cove turned back to the water. Okay, bye! But as he looked away, something about Shiho's slow, careful movements caught his eye. Hey, are you building a sandcastle?
Sort of. I was only playing around while you were talking. I'm listening.
Maybe I could too. I've only made big piles before.
It's nothing special. I'm sure you'll be good at it right away.
How do you do it then? Sheila's cheeks lit up. You could tell he was a bit uncomfortable to have Cove's expectant stare on him. I'll play too. I have never really made made one before. He put his hands back to his seashells and sand and nodded.
I don't do a lot. Here's how I like to get a house started.
Shiloh's focusing more intently than you'd ever seen him, guided the two of you through his process. Sorry. It didn't take long for the three of you to each have humble structures prepared.
That's all, kind of. You can do anything now, like make it bigger, add some seashells, or carve a prettier pattern. I bet you'll have great ideas.
Okay. I'm gonna make it bigger. Mine's gonna be a real castle.
Cool, this is gonna be a house.
Looking at the base of your sandcastle, you decided to make a mansion, considering they're making the other two. Looking at the base of your sandcastle, you decided to design a mansion. The better part of the next hour was spent focusing on your own work. The boys were the same. Even Shiloh didn't sneak as many peeks at anyone else's as he usually did. You finished shaping before either of them did, glancing up from what you'd built. It seemed you got done so fast because they already searched around for extra decorations. Shiloh grabbed the most of the really interesting stuff, and Cove had a lot of the shells, but there were still options. The first thing you reached for was a blue seashell. It was the best fit for your mansion, you decided. The blue colour of it reminded you of the clear water, so you put it in a funny place where it would take a second look to see it. Pleased with your result, you finally took a proper look around that wasn't focused on the sand itself. Both Cove and Shiloh seemed super immersed still. You knew you could probably sneak a peek at either one's work. I'll behave. You decided to watch some clouds go by. The silence was then broken. What's on top of yours, Shiloh? You peered closer and discovered something shiny sticking out of Shiloh's sand chimney.
Oh, it's just a gum wrapper. It looks like smoke.
Neat. It's good. That's smart. Eight-year-olds don't know what architects are.
You really know a lot about this.
Shiloh smiled without a word. And that was it for the current topic. B, can I see what you did? Sure. He scooted just a bit nearer and began surveying your work. All you really knew about mansions were that they were supposed to be big, so you'd gone really big. It was the size of a country club that Lizzie played golf at. Compared to Cove and Shiloh's buildings, probably even bigger. Shiloh quickly decided to jump to the new conversation.
Hey B, what did you do?
This is my mansion.
It looks great. Your house is so big.
Not a big house, it's a mansion.
Yeah. Huh. Is being a house bad?
No.
No.
But we each made our own place, and nobody is the same.
I think we are.
Cove raised an eyebrow at that. If something is the only one of that thing, that makes it special.
Yeah, for sandcastles and stuff.
People too. My dad always says how everyone is their own man, a real individual.
I don't think I'm very special.
Why? Why not? Nobody else is you. Shiloh simply shook his head.
I'm not different.
A beat passed between the two. Cove then looked down at his own work again. Okay. He didn't seem to be bothered leaving the disagreement hanging there. Cove had other things on his mind. My dad tried to get me to make sandcastles the first time we came to this beach. I didn't want to. Cove trailed off again. There was another moment of silence. Shiloh shifted and opened his mouth to say something, but Cove spoke up before he could. You didn't think he'd notice that Shiloh was going to talk. Hey, do you know what happened when your mums met my dad, Bee? You waited to see if Shiloh would say what he wanted to. When he didn't, you considered Cove's question. I wasn't there. They didn't tell me. I just remember what happened when I met your dad. Mr. Holden had been a weird stranger then. Well, he was still kind of strange. No other parents acted like him, but you knew him better at this point. Now that you thought about it, it made a lot of sense that Cove's dad taught him about people being unique. You were pulled from your thoughts when Cove continued. Oh, well, I was there. I don't think my mum has met your dad. Oh, sorry, that's Sheila.
I don't think my mom has met your dad.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she hasn't. Bee's parents and my dad met the same day I met them. I'm gonna say what happened. Sheila frowned to himself, ducking his head. His hat cast a shadow over his face. You could still tell that he was upset about not being included in Cove's choice of topic. That was kind of boring for him, though, giving people their own turn to say the things that they wanted was important too. I think Sheila wants to talk too. Huh? We were talking, just not right now. I'm talking to you, he can listen. Sheila's expression barely flickered at the words. He still looked put off. Cove continued like the interruption hadn't happened. He was determined to tell the tale. When we moved here, we didn't bring a lot of things with us. Only some stuff that would fit in Dad's car. We didn't even get a moving truck. I sat in there while Dad brought all the stuff inside. I didn't really get out. I didn't want to get out because I knew Dad would make me look around the new house. I really didn't want to do that. His lips twisted into a frown as he recalled that. Then I saw your moms. They were in a car too, and they stopped at your house. I guess they were coming back from somewhere or something. My dad noticed, waved his hand, then went over to the front of your house, where I started talking to them. I don't know what they said. I couldn't hear. But he couldn't see me anymore since they were looking the other way. So I opened the car door and left. I wanted to get away and went behind the houses. I found those hills there, the ones where we met for the first time. Cove nodded, then stared at you. You stared back. He didn't go on to say anything more. Aren't you gonna finish your story? Cove's brow wrinkled, like he didn't understand why you were surprised. That's all that happened. Okay. Why did you want to tell the story if nothing happened? You really gotta get better at telling stories. That was a pretty bad story. Thanks for telling me. I'll just say okay. What is it? What? You said that in a weird way. I don't think I did. Cove narrowed his eyes at you, suspicious. Sheila's mouth twisted into a scowl of disbelief, but he said nothing. Why did you bring that up anyway? There was a slight shrug of Cove's shoulders.
Well,
I was thinking about it because of the sandcastle. It made me remember when I moved to here. Dad showed me the beach first before we went back to the car to unpack. He was really excited about it for some reason. Cove's brows furrowed a little as he quietly raked his hands through the sand. I get it. He thought maybe Mr. Holden wasn't that excited about the beach and was instead hoping Cove might be. But the line of conversation had to come to its end. Even Cove was done with it. Some other topic had popped into his head. Sheila fidgeting uncomfortably in the sand had made Cove aware of his presence again. They looked at each other, and you could only wonder what this might be about. Hey Sheila.
yeah?
Why are you always turning so red, even when nothing's happened? Clearly startled, he jerked back. Neither you or Sheila had expected that to be how he got included in the conversation again.
I don't know, I guess.
Okay, it's kind of weird. Sheila's eyes were wide with embarrassment. His lips twitched, and he was blushing even harder than before. Maybe it wasn't only this. Perhaps it was simply the last straw, but it was almost a big deal to Sheila. A huge deal. He didn't just look sad. He seemed almost panicked. You weren't sure if he was about to cry or run away or what, but soon you got an answer.
Why do you wear glasses? Most kids don't wear glasses, and nobody is named Cove.
Who asked you to come?
Ooh. Okay. Let me just have a drink. It was probably just your dad's bugging.
Bee's family some more, because you didn't have anyone else who'll ever play with you.
Cove blinked. The tension on the beach was suddenly uncomfortable in a way you didn't know how to laugh off. It seemed like the kind of thing he'd get upset about, though you hadn't ever known what kind of thing would bother Sheila.
I'm sorry.
Me too. I was just wondering. The day is gonna be over soon.
Ah, Bee, you're right. The sun is going down fast.
You all went back to making more sandcastle buildings. Blah blah blah. Sand buildings. But the whole mood had changed. Sheila's cheeriness was clearly gone, and Cove looked as confused as ever about why the other boy had blown up. The air stayed uncomfortable for the rest of the afternoon, right up until the moment that Sheila's mum appeared at the beach to take him home. At least she tried to do something to resolve it though, and it seemed like it helped. Even though Sheila's smile when he said goodbye to Cove wavered, it stayed as bright as ever for you. That had to count for something. But with Sheila gone, and the sun going down, you knew it was time for you and Cove to head back to your own houses. The two of you trailed out of the park together toward the neighborhood. The walk home was quiet. You passed familiar landmarks, shoes thumping against the sidewalk in near perfect unison. Cove was clearly caught up in thinking about something. Something was definitely up, so you decided to reach out and ask him. Hey Cove, is everything okay? You're making a funny face. Oh, I was just wondering. Cove fell silent for a few more seconds, then sighed. Why did Sheila act like that? When I said he was all red a lot. It's like the 10-second rule. You should only point out things if they can fix it in 10 seconds. Like, if you see some food in someone's teeth, you can go, oh, there's a bit of food in your teeth. And they go, oh, sorry, and they kind of like pick it out or whatever. But if you go like, oh, your teeth are weird, or your teeth look crooked, that's not something they can fix in 10 seconds. It's just going to make them feel bad. So you shouldn't say it. Okay. You're being rude to him. He's just being a baby. You shouldn't make fun of him. I don't know, it's just Sheila. He gets embarrassed. He shrugged at Cove with no answer to give. Oh, you shrugged at Cove, sorry. You shouldn't make fun of him. I wasn't. It sounded like you were to me. I didn't mean to. I guess I can get it. Why he would do that. Sometimes I get really mad too. Despite seemingly coming to a conclusion, Cove's mood was still sour. Hey, B, was Sheila telling the truth? Huh? His gaze left yours as he dug the sole of his shoe into the ground. He looked oddly vulnerable for a second. Does my dad make you hang out with me? I know he talks to your mums about that a lot. An uncomfortable weight settled in your chest at the question. You like spending time with Cove. You didn't even have to think hard about it. You knew you did. You couldn't help but feeling guilty. Cove still didn't know what happened when you met Mr. Holden. Should I tell him the truth? Your dad does do stuff so you'll hang out with my family. No, that's sus. You decided to tell him about how his dad offered you money. My main concern is if I go with the top one and say nobody's making me spend time with you, then he's gonna find out that his dad offered me money, and he might not hear the whole story, he might take it and overreact, and it's gonna make a big rift. But if I tell him about how his dad offered me money, then I can include that I said no, but I might end up making his relationship with his dad quite strained. You know what? We're gonna pause it here. I'm gonna save. And we're gonna come back to this in the next one. Because I genuinely don't know what to do. And we're gonna choose together on the next one. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with me to play this. I'm really enjoying it so far. It's a very beautiful game. But, yeah, that will be it for today. I hope you will have a pleasant rest of the afternoon or just rest of the day, wherever you are. And I'll see you next time. Okay, bye!